Welcome to your full moon session here for connecting with your inner authority. You don't have to catch this on the full moon, but I did do this session live in the red tent in my women's space in the online community that I host for the full moon. And we were focusing on this theme of inner authority, and we covered a lot of interesting topics within that. So I thought I would share some of it on here as well in case this interests you. If you are looking to connect more with your body, with nature, you want to feel more confident in the decisions that you're making, more clear about your direction in life, and you want to understand how to synchronize with your body, with your natural inner science for embracing these things within your life, this is going to be very supportive for you. I dive into some overall awareness and understanding about the moon cycles, the cycle phases, how this all connects with what's happening in the world on a larger scale here in this session. And in the end, we dive into a meditation and visualization that you can enjoy that gives you a lot of personalized information. So there's some overview and some of my perspectives from my experience of working with women around the world, making courses, working with clients, working as a doula. I also work with naturopathic medicine, yogic medicine. So all the healing things has been my intrigue and my passion, my work for a number of years now. So I felt called to bring this all together and offer this experience here for the women in the red tent. And this is also a broader invitation to learn more about what is shared within this red tent space, what's offered there. So dive in, enjoy, and let me know in the comments what comes through for you, what stands out, how your experience was. Always love to hear what this experience is like for you in the comments down below. Wonderful, let's jump on in. So we'll be looking at that in regards to this theme of inner authority, as well with the menstrual cycle, with the cycles of life. And we'll be doing a visualization with that as well to help just ground in some of this information for you. Where are you feeling imbalanced? Where are you maybe feeling out of balance in regards to like, okay, I need to put a boundary in place here. I want to be achieving more here. Or I just don't feel like, okay, this part of myself is accepted, because it's a big part of our inner authority is that we really need to work with whole personal self-acceptance first and foremost. It's like having different team members, like particularly for women, because we have all these different expressions of self that come through with different phases of the moon. So if those things are not in alignment, we don't feel like we like one part of ourselves 1 week of our cycle. It's like, oh my gosh, that person is so irritating. It can be harder to really stand by ourselves and really feel that sense of inner authority. So we'll be touching on all those different topics here. I'll give a bit of a background on those things for the moon and for the cycle phases before we dive into the visualization. So yeah, just starting out with the moon here and how it really mirrors us. And this is something that is simple. It's something that we can tune into very easily, but has such a deep, profound effect of understanding ourselves. And as women, it really stops the feeling of being in a washing machine in life. Just that washing machine effect of like 1 week I feel like this, or 1 month I feel like this, and the next month I don't feel good, etc., etc. And that is really oftentimes because we are living off of the solar cycle. We're living off of the sun, 9 to 5, waking up in the morning, having to work 5 days a week. And this can make us feel like disconnected from ourselves in many ways because we're not like able to listen to our own inner rhythm. So within the moon cycles, we are most accustomed to being more like extroverted in general during the full moon phase, during that time when the energy is literally lit up, it's expanded, it's expressive. That's a really great time to socialize, to connect with other people. And then during the new moon is more of a time of like insulation, coming back into ourselves, reflecting, okay, how are my seeds doing? How are my projects doing? Am I moving towards my goals? It's a great time for reflection. However, this dynamic is so personalized because when we take it into the physical body, the moon cycles shift, like how we react to the energy of the moon cycles shifts based on where we are in our menstrual cycle. So if you're ovulating, for example, in the new moon, that's going to shift how you react to that energy. Or if you are menstruating during the new moon as well, like depending on where you are, it's great to know like when you're bleeding and when you're ovulating, depending on where the moon is at. And that can just give you more of a sense of personal orientation. This can indicate where we're putting our energy into. Sometimes when we're in like more motherly kind of phases, we're in a caring phase in life, this shifts our relationship with the moon and how the moon is moving. Whereas if we're focusing more on projects and work, that kind of puts us into a different energy, and we tend to menstruate at a different time in relation to the moon. So this is all really helpful to know, because coming back into this connection, firstly with the body, and secondly with nature, these are the deeper seeds, really, at the end of the day, to the inner authority for women, for men as well, but in a different type of way. This is specifically for women. If we aren't feeling like we are listening to the body and we are connected with the body, it's like we don't have 2 feet to stand on when it comes to a disagreement, or it comes to a conversation, or it comes to an intense or important decision in life. If we're not feeling like, okay, I know what my heart's saying, I know what my womb is saying, I know what my head is saying, okay, I've gotten a full picture, now I step forward with clarity. That's when you can stand in your authority and not feel a sense of wavering based on other people's opinions. So this is kind of the foundational work that we need to put in place. And really, there's nothing to be ashamed of, or absolutely nothing wrong if like women are feeling like they're not feeling that sense of stability, because in so many ways in society, it has systematically been taken away from us, because we haven't been educated about our menstrual cycle early on. We haven't been supported with our sexuality, understanding how to work with our fertility. This information has been buried, it has been completely distorted by different industries that definitely want to sell us things, or want us to do things. Like they want us to work, for example. They want women to start working, they want women to leave the home. That was a huge part of like the Industrial Revolution, as well as the medical industry, people wanting to buy medications. So all of these ulterior motives have gotten in the way of this sense of inner authority. And this all comes back to nature. First pillar being the body, second pillar being nature. It all comes back to nature, because if we are not connected to our bodies, and we're not going to be connected with nature, and essentially what that means is women are not connected to their power, their sense of inner power. And this is beneficial in many ways for industries, because if we give away our power, we then can be controlled more easily. And this is where we've gotten so many problems coming in for women's health and mental health, physical health, and it all mirrors just the destruction of nature. Essentially, that's been happening with forests being cut down, like just things not being respected. And that has gone on for years. And now we're starting to see more clearly than ever that that is not sustainable. We're seeing all of these issues come up, and they're in every single country. We're getting these major storms, we're getting earthquakes, we're getting droughts, we're getting fires. It's all out of balance because of this sense of disrespect. The disrespect for the female body, like if one is disrespecting their own body as a woman, or they're feeling disrespected by other people or by the society around them, this all damages like Mother Nature, because we are the vessels that bring life into this world. We receive the seeds and we germinate them, and we bring new humans into the world. We hold that frequency and we hold that energy. So knowing that that is our power. It's not that we don't need men, or that there isn't a balance in a sense, but it's about knowing what our role is energetically. That doesn't have to always be to do with pregnancies and having babies. That is an energetic frequency that comes to all kinds of creations. That is a superpower that we have to receive energy and to bring new life into the world. But we have to, as women, regain that sense of inner authority and know that we must work in coordination, in collaboration with nature, which is our physical body, which is the natural world around us. If we don't work in collaboration with the elements, with the natural world, we lose all sense of power, because we receive our power so much from the water element and from the earth element. Men receive more power from the fire element and from the air element. Not to say that women don't and men don't. We all need all 4 elements within ourselves, within our lives to function well. But just our strongest elements as women is water and is earth. And so we like to take things slow sometimes. There's more rest required. There's more patience. There's also more wisdom in regards to like how long things take. If we're living in masculine energy a lot, we're living a lot with fire and with air as women, with a lot of communication, a lot of fast-paced energy, not a lot of rest, things like that, then we lose this the sense of patience, and we tend to fold more into what men desire or what our job or our company is asking us to do, because it's like moving at that pace. We're not connected to the sense of the wisdom of patience or the time that things need to take for us, what feels good for our bodies, what feels, more aligned with nature, and all of that wisdom has been kind of being drained away. And that's where we've gotten completely disconnected in regards to consumerism, for example, consuming just so much stuff, consuming, and not thinking about the waste that creates, what we're going to do with the waste, how that affects the earth, how much extraction we can sustainably do without causing damage. All of that just poof out the window because of the takeover of the masculinity. And so it's more important than ever, to give like a larger context in that sense. It is truly more important than ever for women to stand in their inner authority, to know their wisdom, to connect in with that. And from working with women all over the world, from what I've experienced with sharing courses, with sharing private sessions with people, sharing workshops, is just this sense of like relaxation, just this exhale, because what we're really doing when we step into our inner authority is we're allowing ourselves to live by our natural science. It's so effortless. We don't have to keep trying so hard. We don't have to keep pushing or forcing things into place, or literally going against our biology. We can see this so much in women just drinking a lot of coffee, feeling a sense of burnout, having more mental issues, especially when it comes to like pregnancy, postpartum, like this just being such a challenge, because the body's almost confused as to what's happening because we're disconnected from our natural science, our natural equilibrium. So we gain so much from this, not just for ourselves, we gain so much because when we are in these energies, when we regain our authority, we become an example for our friends, our daughters, the people around us. The nature benefits from it as well. So really there's just endless benefits to coming back into this. So those are the seeds, those are the seeds that I share about, that I feel from my journey of working as a doula, working with birthing medicine, working with women of really all ages, and looking at like, where is this thread? Where is the thread of disempowerment? Where does it truly come from? And from my experience, it comes from the first beginnings of when we become women. It becomes from when we just cross over that threshold, we have our first menstrual cycle. And that's a really impressionable period when we get that first menstrual cycle. And this plants the seeds. It creates the foundation for how we determine what is inner authority, what is my body, what's my relationship with my body. So how we cross that threshold is great to remember. It's great to look back on what was your story, like what happened, who was there for you, who maybe wasn't there for you, did you feel good, did you feel shamed, did you have the information that you needed? Like reviewing that story and how it went for you is wonderful, to just have a sense of awareness of like where your foundation was, because sometimes we can have issues like in our 40s, much later in life, and wonder like, why is it so hard for me to stay in my inner authority or stand up for myself? And when we come back to that beginning, like, oh, actually, that's how I started out with my menstrual cycle, and that's where the shame and maybe some difficulties have come in and planted, some seeds in there. So we can go back, we can take out the things that are not resonating with us. We can reframe the story so that we feel more empowered. Like reparenting ourselves is how some psychologists and some counselors will describe it. And I think it's a great way to describe it, because sometimes for no fault of their own, parents are just not equipped to give the full information to the now woman. So when we go back and we reframe it and we talk to ourselves in a sense at that time in our lives, it's like, okay, now I understand it a little bit better. I can see what was missing and I can see how I can improve on that. So it's great to look at the beginning stages and then going through your life as well for any significant events that happened for you, whether it was something to do with, obviously the first time having intimacy is very important. Your general like experiences of intimacy, if there's any trauma or abuse, they're all really important to recall when it comes to the sense of inner authority. Pregnancy, birth, your relationship with motherhood, your experience of motherhood, and if you have gone into menopause as well, like reflecting on these crossing points and these experiences. This thread holds really all the secrets for where inner authority has, how it has unfolded for you. Everyone's journey, as you can imagine, is different, but there are many similarities, of course. And this is where we have our power as women as well, because we weave together our stories. We see that we're all connected through these same experiences, and we can learn from them. We can grow from them. There's never a point in which we're like just broken, and we can never have a sense of authority or feel very confident within ourselves again. That's definitely not what I believe personally anyways. When we're able to review our story, if sometimes we need support from a friend, a family member, or a counselor of some kind, someone that we trust to like really go into that story and reframe it, sometimes that's helpful to have that extra support, but it is always possible to do. So taking all this information here, let's bring this all into a nice visualization and see what comes through personally for you. So before we dive into visualization, I'm just going to give us a quick overview of, I've been mentioning, about the moon, about the phases, the cycles, like how this all resonates. So let's just look at a summary of the phases in case that's new for some people. Because in the guided meditation here, we're going to look at which phase feels strongest for you, which phase feels weakest for you. And this just helps to pinpoint more where your inner authority is at this time, like where your strengths are, where your weaknesses are, and how you can build yourself up to feel like you have a more stable foundation, a more sense of authority in your life. And if you are past having menstrual cycles at this stage, then you're looking at phases of your life. So I'll just go through that real quick. So we have the first phase, which is the menstrual phase. This is when we are bleeding in the cycle, and this is the crone. This is the time if you have gone past menstruating, you're in past menopause, you're in that crone energy phase of life. And this is the time we rest, we're more introverted, and we're shedding, we're shedding, we're letting things go. And it can be tumultuous because depending on what we're letting go, again, as I mentioned, noticing the moon phases, especially when you're bleeding, is very helpful to just see why maybe certain menstrual phases can be chaotic, why other ones are more calm. This can just give some insight on that. Once we finish the menstruation phase, then we go into the pre-ovulatory phase. So just before ovulation, we have a couple of days, depending on how long your cycle is, it can be up to a week, where this is the most masculine time really, because the hormones are very low. We can get super organized and you just feel a sense of refresh after bleeding as well. It's just like, okay, that's over. And you might just feel that sense you want to get your house organized, you want to get your computer organized, you want to make a million plans. It's this spring energy. It's literally the energy of spring. So the menstrual energy is winter, then we come into spring in the pre-ovulatory time. This is known as the maiden. So it's known as before a woman becomes a mother in life. It doesn't have to be literally having children. You can mother projects and things like that as well. But just before coming into that mother energy, you're in the maiden phase. Then we come into ovulation. So that's more the mother energy. You're starting to come into that sense of blossoming. It's a very social time. It's like taking care of other people in your community. You have that extra energy to just like make a wonderful meal for your family. It's like that type of feeling. There's like excess, and it can be a very expansive and great time to express yourself. And so that's when we are mothering in life, that phase in life. And then lastly, we come into the premenstrual phase. And this is the time we are the most creative. This is the season of autumn. We had the season of summer and ovulation. So the premenstrual time is when we can really be the most creative because we're like not fully introverted. We're kind of on our way back into ourselves. And so this is a very helpful time to just check in, notice, okay, what do I feel called to create? Maybe you feel like crocheting, you feel like writing. We are born creators. Such an important part of inner authority is that we create things with our hands, like physical things. This really can unlock so much within us. Some people don't have a great experience of the premenstrual time because of the hormones. And if you are taking different hormonal contraceptives or pills, medications, things like that, we tend to have like quite a strong buildup when it comes to that premenstrual phase. And this can cause like a lot of side effects and symptoms and difficulties that literally make our emotions go up and down. So detoxification is very helpful if you are noticing the premenstrual time is very hard to manage. So this is autumn, and this is the time, like age-wise, after we become mothers, in a sense, like around 40, 50, like just before menopause is like this wise woman phase. So you've been through motherhood, you've been through the menstrual cycle, all of these things, and then you come into this like wise time where you know, like you've created a lot of things, you've cared for a lot of things in life, and people tend to come to you for advice in that sense because you understand a lot of things. So that's a quick summary of the 4 phases there. So let's dive into the visualization and see which one feels strongest for you, see which one might need some strengthening. We'll also do a visualization as well for coming into your authority as well. So we'll start by just coming into a nice comfortable seat. You can lie down if you wish as well, if that's easier for you. Taking a few deep breaths, and we'll quickly focus in on the heart space just to come into this present moment. And we'll let go of everything that's been happening in the past, things that happened earlier on in the day, yesterday, or things that you're going to do in the next couple hours, the rest of the week. Just letting all that go, coming into this present moment, giving yourself some time to check in. Focusing in on the breath, the beating of the heart. And taking a quick scan over the guided body as well as we get started here to just release any tension in the head, the neck, the shoulders. You can scan over the muscles of the body, see if there's anywhere where there's tension, maybe the lower back as well. And just using your conscious awareness to relax. And with that, we'll start to move the breath down into the abdomen, allowing the abdominal wall to relax, expanding the breath out as you inhale, expanding the belly out as you inhale, bring it in as you exhale. Wonderful. And as you continue to breathe naturally, coming down into the pelvis now, and we'll start to connect with the womb space. So we can sense into this towards the lower pelvis, towards the lower back as well. Breathing into this part of the body, connecting, noticing where you feel your womb. And visualizing here that you're on the surface level of your womb. You can see the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, the uterus. And taking a deep breath in here and using your exhale to sink into the womb, coming into the center of your womb space. And asking your womb here which phase it is feeling like it is strongest at this time, or which phase in life felt the strongest for you. So the menstruation, the crone, the elder years, the pre-ovulation, the spring, the maiden time, the ovulation, the summer, the mother, or the premenstrual, the autumn, the wise woman. And just, you can envision 4 of these women standing before you if you wish. And without thinking too much, noticing which one feels strongest for you. Wonderful. And checking in again, taking a deep breath in, connecting into the center of the womb space. And seeing these 4 women before you, the 4 seasons of life. Asking your womb now which phase of cycle or life is needing some love, some support, is feeling burdensome at this time, or even unwell. Again, clearing your mind, just noticing which part of your cycle comes to mind, which woman is most prominent for you. Wonderful. And connecting in here, knowing your strength and weakness here within the cycle. Welcoming your womb to give you any guidance at this time, to help to balance out this energy, to support you feeling more grounded in your inner authority. You can take a deep breath in to clear the mind, exhaling to relax. And just allowing your womb to speak, trusting the first things that come to mind as you ask your womb, how can I bring more balance? How can I awaken more of this inner authority? You may see a person, a word, a symbol, and just trust whatever comes. And taking one more deep breath here, welcoming any other information to channel through for you. Beautiful. When you're ready, you can start to move the awareness then up into the heart space once again. Connecting in with the beating of your heart. Again, feeling your energy in the present moment, the stillness of the heart, the breath. And we'll welcome here the heart to share a visualization of what your life would look like if you were to operate from radical self-authority. Feeling 100% grounded within yourself, clear about what you need, what you want, your connection with your community, your work, your roles in life. Feeling that sense of clarity within the heart. And then envisaging as if the heart is a light shining out in front of you. And within this light in front of you in your mind's eye, like a movie, you can see your life. Certain things remaining the same, other things transforming. Possibly words or communication, important communication arising. Things you have not said. And as you look into this light, envisaging your life with this radical self-authority, feeling empowered, in control, safe. Notice which parts of your life remain the same, which parts are changing in this vision. And taking a few breaths here, allowing your heart to speak the truth to you through this vision, through these images, for your inner truth, what is best for you at this time. Wonderful. And as you center into this heart space, seeing this vision, feeling that sense of self-respect, like you are your own best friend, you are supporting yourself, you're encouraging yourself, you're caring for yourself. And seeing how this care, this connection to the heart, to the womb, naturally makes you more able to connect with others more deeply, to care for others more deeply. Because you are centered in, you are connected to your energy, your power. Remembering here that you can always come back for a couple minutes or longer if you have time to check in, to connect with the womb, to connect with the heart. If you feel yourself slipping away from your authority, your inner self-respect, just having those few moments, using the breath, tuning in, reconnect, and then re-engage with whatever it is that you're doing. Your body is there for you to support you, to guide you, and to center you. So keeping this connection as you start to open your eyes and come back into your space. Noticing how you feel. And maybe writing some of the information down that you received from your vision, from your womb. Especially if it didn't make sense. If it's a symbol or if it's some type of information that wasn't 100% clear, it sometimes can come through in that way. And then by the end of the day or a couple days later, you notice synchronicities or more information comes through. So it's great to write it down, and just like dream work, the guidance comes through with time. Beautiful. Amazing. So I finished out the session with pulling oracle cards from this beautiful Sacred Rebels deck, which gives a lot of feminine energy insight. Every card is like literally a portal. I highly recommend this deck if you're interested in it. So we pull cards, which is always a lovely way to just connect more personally as well, give everyone some insight for their journey at this time. And so if you're interested, you want to be notified when the next circle comes up, you're welcome to check out the red tent below. It's free to join. The membership is open. People join in. You just hop on a call with me first and foremost, because I like to just make sure everyone coming in, there's just that personal touch point first off. And then you can join in and you'll be notified for any of the upcoming calls. You'll be able to check in with other sisters in the group as well, just to get to know some new people that are learning and connecting with their bodies, that are living in alignment with nature. So if that resonates with you, definitely join us. You're very welcome. And inside there's also some paid courses if you want to dive deeper into the cycle empowerment, which I touched on, the cycle phases, how you can use that for manifestation, for your personal health. I have found it literally just a life force for me, like such a central part of my life as being an entrepreneur for about 9 years now. So I'm always using my cycle energy to create, and I'm always using it as well for personal relationships, all different aspects of life. So I've channeled all of that into an online course that you can do at your own pace, as well as a course for natural contraceptives. I have a video on natural contraceptives as well that I'll share with this video if you want to dive deeper into how to use herbal remedies and fertility awareness method instead of using medications and things like that, that aligns you more with the power of your fertility, which of course comes into this topic of inner authority. So I have a video sharing more about that, and you can also check out the course within the red tent. Beautiful. So all the links are with this video. Thank you for checking in, for sharing this experience with us. Even though people are not present, everyone that joins, is energetically felt when the circle is being held. So I was very excited to record this one and share it more broadly with people so we can open up for more women to join this beautiful space. Alrighty, sending you an abundance of love and light, and look forward to connecting with you again soon.